Now this morning I'm having a go at photographing turnstones. I think turnstones and sandling are the two most frequently photographed waders because they're very numerous and they're very tame and approachable. So they're coming very close to me, but I've been here now an hour and a half. I don't think I've taken a worthwhile picture yet. They are not posing. Everything's wrong as well. Well, not everything. The thing that's right is we've got a little bit of a rise in the pebble beach here, so I'm trying to photograph them on the top of that rise with water behind it. And if I'd have been here early enough, I'd have had no wind blowing at dawn, and the colour in the water would have been brown. It would have been very attractive behind the pebble beach. But I didn't get here very early because the motorway was closed. There'd been an accident. I'd probably lost an hour and a half, I think, before the police turned everybody around and you had to drive the wrong way up the motorway to get off it. So I wasn't here early enough. The light has now gone cloudy. It's not as colourful as it would have been at dawn. So I've missed the best of it, just been trying to get something out of the day. Now I know I'm not being particularly successful. There's too much to go wrong here. We've got all those swans and gulls in the background, and that keeps creating a distraction. We've got the bridge reflected in the water, that blue signpost in the distance, and then people keep walking along the shoreline, which creates a reflection in the water too. The birds just haven't been posing. They've just been too active, keep turning their heads away from me. Usual frustrations. It's just been worse than normal this morning, but it's noticeable now they're slowing down. It must be very close to high tide. The water's coming up around my stool at the moment, so you can see them starting to look for somewhere that they're just going to sit the high tide out, and there's less and less gravelly beach for them to be standing on.
Very early on I decided this was not a good place for video. Too many distractions. You've got to get at least a 20-second clip of video, and in that time they're going to have a swan swim past them or a person walking across the beach. So I'll stick to stills photography. I've only got to get it right for a fraction of a second. Now I like the pebbly beach and the colours of it, but I really wanted just a brown background. Now that background is a reflection in the water of the far beach, and if the wind wasn't blowing it would be all brown. As it is, it's broken up and we got bits of blue. Nothing really wrong with it, just not what I wanted. The tide was coming in fast.
I'm going to have to move. I'm starting to get wet. Well, now there's only the rocks that they can land on, and I've actually enjoyed the last 5 minutes of photography more than the rest of it. I've actually got some decent poses on the rocks. Lots of people about, and you've got to put up with that because that's why these birds are tame. They're so used to people.
I didn't mind the reflection at this point when it was about a 50-50 divide between the sand reflection and the silvery water. That looked okay. And on the rocks I could get that brown background occasionally. I do like to see the bird's feet though, so they're hidden by the rock. He's got to come forward a little bit like that. And now I can zoom in, and I make good use of the zoom. I'm zooming backwards and forwards all the time when I'm photographing. At one point a lady came up to me and told me she feeds the turnstones here almost every day. Turnstones, one of the few waders that people have started to feed. Because they're found right in the centre of our seaside resorts, they're started to eat our discarded fish and chips and other scraps, and so people have got into the habit of feeding them now. She's obviously not a photographer, as she wouldn't have put the food down there. Not the most attractive place, but look how persistent these birds are. Backwards and forwards, not at all bothered really by people. The tide kept coming in. There's about 30 cars parked along this road, including mine, and there's still another 40 minutes to high tide, so I decided to move. The following day I decided to go across to Brownsea Island, the largest of the islands in Poole Harbour. It's owned by the National Trust, and it's not really that cheap to get to. You have to pay for the boat trip across. If you're not a member of the trust, you've got to pay an entry fee, and on top of that you've got to pay to park in the town of Poole, which is not cheap. There's a large lagoon on the island which has 2 hides, both of which are well worth visiting. This little egret is taken from the tern hide. Now, during the breeding season there are a lot of sandwich terns breeding here, but they've had to put this netting around them because the seeker deer come across and destroy all the eggs. A greenshank coming in front of the avocet hide. It's not every day you get the chance to photograph greenshank. The weather wasn't great. It was very overcast, in fact it rained most of the time. I do like colour in my pictures. And here we have a redshank. And this was a bit odd. I thought this bird was injured at first. It's a redshank. But no, it got up and moved off very happily. There were both bar-tailed and black-tailed godwits there, but only the black-tailed came close enough to the hide. And lots of avocets. Doesn't seem that long ago when avocets were really rare birds, but now they're quite widespread. They are to be found on many of our nature reserves. It's a large lagoon stretching as far as that green bank, and beyond it you've got the sea of Poole Harbour. A lot of spoonbills were present. It's another bird that's been doing quite well, and it's a species that loves to groom itself. It's very common to see spoonbills mutually grooming each other. Now I'm going to finish off by showing you some pictures of a spoonbill I took in 2018 in Spain, in the vicinity of the Coto Doñana National Park. Now, I've been to this national park many times, it's very famous, but I've always found it quite restrictive photographically. There's not much access to the land, apart from in one fairly remote corner, where I've actually done very well over the years. So I was driving along this dirt track in my car with a water channel by the side of it, and I came across a spoonbill down in this channel. I pulled up in the car, I started taking pictures. I was quite happy because these at that time were probably the best spoonbill pictures I'd got. I've done them quite well since, but the only thing I didn't like is I'm looking down at the bird too much. I don't like looking down, I want to be level with the bird. Now, over a period of about 30 minutes, on 2 occasions this bird disappeared. It went up the channel, I couldn't see it anymore. 5 minutes later it would come back again. So the 3rd time it disappeared up the channel, I jumped out of the car, grabbed the big lens and a beanbag and ran down into the channel and lay on the ground. And I've said this many times on YouTube, if you lie down low you'll just look like a log to a bird and they take no notice of you. So the bird came back and he just kept walking towards me, and he came closer and closer. And this was before the age of the modern zoom, where I could zoom back. I was shooting with a 300 f4 lens. Wonderful lens, but I want to be able to zoom back. He's too big in the frame now. And eventually he started to become suspicious of me, but he just turned around and walked away. Thanks for watching.